Yeah, so my name's Tyler. I work for Peaden Air Conditioning, Plumbing, Electrical, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Customer Experience. So I handle all of our marketing functions and then also our contact centers. So we have right around 20 customer service reps. It kind of fluctuates with the season. And then at Peaden, we also have several inside sales reps that handle open estimates.
Is it hard for you to like scale up or back with CSRs based on the seasonality?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult because you could never staff a contact center for 110 degrees in July in Florida because you'd need 200 CSRs that one day. So there's definitely like some load balancing issues. And historically, we've used, a third-party answering service with people, and those people are they probably answer for 100 different companies. So it can be really difficult to have them know what to say to the customers and what to ask. We've had better luck actually with the AI bot qualifying the leads and talking to them about Peaden because it really knows all about us and it only does what we want it to. So that's been really helpful. And then like the number one reason we wanted to have the AI bot replying and this just speed to lead, particularly on Google local service ads. Our Google local service ads rankings, they were pretty volatile. Like sometimes we'd be the top and we'd be getting plenty of leads, then it would dry up. And then sometimes you get nothing for a couple of days in some of our newer locations and smaller offices. And so when we started digging into it, it's like, well, what goes into that ranking? Part of it is review count and how recent your reviews are. Part of it's budget, but quite honestly, everybody has a pretty large local service ads budget because they're the best leads that Google can give you. So really what it comes down to is just speed to lead, because just basically the first one wins. The quicker you reply and start engaging that customer, the higher Google's going to rank you in the results because you're more likely to book that job. And obviously if you're booking that job and getting more reviews, Google's going to rank you higher. So in a space as competitive as HVAC, plumbing, and electrical on Google, we kind of saw it as a must-have. And so we started looking for how can we always be the first on getting back to that customer. So that was the kind of the main thing we went after, and then Hatch was the solution to that to make sure we don't ever miss one and it answers right away.
So you have your Google LSA synced up with Hatch, and then when a lead comes in, the Hatch basically reaches out right away, and then when the customer responds, you have an AI CSR that is ready to engage and take them all the way through to the point where a human CSR books them, right?
Correct. Yeah, it goes through and qualifies as far as grabbing their name, address, what's going on, and then confirming some details with them that are important to us, like making sure they're the homeowner and advising them of some of our things like dispatch fees and confirming what day they prefer. And then if everything's good, it passes off to CSR to book it.
And what about are you using the bot especially for after hours?
Yeah, it's live all the time. So that's another great thing is before, if somebody filled out a Google message or an LSA message through Google at, let's say, 1 a.m., we'd get it at 7 a.m. and we'd answer. But now, they're getting at least an answer from the AI bot, within probably 10 minutes. And then it's going through and qualifying the lead and getting the necessary information like name, address, advising them of our service fee, getting their preferred date, and going ahead and moving the process along. So it definitely helps us. I mean, if there would be a random competitor that might, if they messaged 4 companies and somebody answered in the middle of the night before, we probably lost them.
Do you have the bot booking on your Service Titan calendar, or do you still pass it off to a human?
We pass it off to a human, not because of anything with the software's capabilities, but just because of some weird process nuances we have on our side. So we're a next star company and we don't do time frames. But in the future, if we ever would move to capacity planning and time slots, we definitely use it. I mean, I see the value there. But it works really great actually handing off to the human because we train the AI bot to say okay, you're all set. I'm going to get this over to our scheduling team. So the person still has the feeling of okay, I'm booked. and then very quickly, because it's going to alert when it hands off, then that person that's actually going and entering the booking, they just shoot them a message saying like, okay, confirm, basically you're all good to go. And then when they book it, they get a confirmation and all that. So we're the customer on their experience, like on their side, they do feel that the bot is booking them, but to truly get it in the system, we're kind of looking it over and getting it in there and matching it up in service type.
Yeah, a lot of our customers say that the bot is so good at just securing those leads, and like they know that they're being taken care of, and that is enough for them to just stay with you and not go to any other competitor.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is just that, they don't feel the need to continue to shop because somebody answered it right away. So that's the big key for us.
Traditionally, you had been outsourcing to, like an outsourced contact center, but because they're handling, they're not native to your business, you didn't really have control over what they would say, and they probably didn't really provide like the best customer experience.
Yeah, just because they're answering for so many different companies, so it's nearly impossible for them to remember everything that we want it to do. But we've had good luck with the AI bot learning things, and then early on, if something weird happened, it's like you only have to tell it once and it remembers. So.
Right, which isn't always the case with humans.
But we have noticed increased volume on our Google local service ads. So, that undoubtedly increases revenue. If you're getting more, I think personally, Google LSA leads are probably the best leads in our industry. So if you can increase that, your revenue is definitely going up with it. I was definitely a little skeptical at first on just if it would have, like with AI, you hear about some like hallucinations, like where it starts saying crazy things or goes off the rails. So of course that was an initial concern, but once I saw how detailed it was that we set it up and put the guardrails in it, and it had bailouts and things like that, it wasn't really a concern anymore. And I'd say actually our CSRs were pretty receptive to it. There was no real concern about their jobs because we're so busy that they'll take any help they could get. So like the fact that this thing was going to go through and get all the necessary info they needed to actually do the booking part of their job, which is the part of their job that they really like to do, is booking the job and getting things scheduled. They don't see it as competition with them. If anything, it makes sure we never miss and they get to book more jobs.
That's what I also hear from people. They basically, either it's already known or they reiterate to their contact center, this isn't going to take your job, this is going to reduce your burdens. And the bot is kind of just doing all the legwork, and then they just have to take it through the finish line. And like you said, that's the most satisfying part of the job, is to actually mark something off as booked.
Yeah, and they were really receptive to it. They even joke around about like, the bot's name is Josie, and they'll be like, oh, Josie got one, or Josie did this. So it's kind of like a running joke. Like we've had a couple customers call and ask about Josie. Like, oh, I was talking to Josie, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I can help you. It's like, so the AI is pretty good because we have people asking for the bot by names. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so basically the technician goes out, and of course the priority is always to solve the problem in the home, and the estimate would sell in a perfect world. But sometimes, people have different reasons, like it's not, they just need to think about it, or whatever reason an estimate doesn't close. Then we have a team of people that we actually call them customer consultants, but really they're, inside sales reps, and they'll follow up and try to figure out what's preventing that from closing, and trying to help get the customer across the finish line and get their problem solved. So they have to they call, text, and email all of those open estimates, which with a company our size, that's a lot of estimates to do all that with. So basically with Hatch, it's going to handle the text and email portion on all of them automatically and on a preset cadence, which will free them up to do the phone call portion and really focus on some of those bigger tickets and what they're prioritizing. And it just makes sure that they don't miss, because it would be human nature. If you have too many things to follow up on, you're going to kind of pick which ones you feel are the best, and you might leave one on the table that would have closed. So it'll definitely help them. They were also, similar to the CSRs, very receptive to it, not at all concerned about oh, you're going to replace me with AI. Like they immediately saw the value of like, wow, that's great because it can do these things that will free me up to do more important parts of my job. But I think the main difference with Hatch was just that the actual speed to lead and AI side. So when I met with Nick from Hatch, like you guys obviously already had it and it was working, and then he was able to show me some other customers and companies similar to our size and then even bigger, which is sometimes hard for us to find, but bigger companies than us using it and examples of how it was working. So I think you guys were just kind of ahead of the game on the AI speed to lead. It was already working. So